It's cold outside, the days are short and winter is here. Bleak, right? Wrong. It's the perfect time of year to get out and do some night photography. Think foggy windows, moody moments, umbrellas under lamplight, shimmering reflections on wet pavement. There's a lot of opportunities at night for incredible photography. The thing is, night photography can be quite intimidating and difficult at first, but once you get into it, it's so much fun. In fact, especially in the winter months, if you're not out doing night photography, you're potentially missing hours of excellent photo opportunities as the days are so short. So how can you level up your night photography fast? Well, in this video, I'm going to reveal 5 ways any level of photographer can make amazing photographs at night. I made a night street photography video last year and the top comment on the video was, "Night street photography tip number 1, move to a big city," which did make me laugh, but yeah, of course there are going to be many more opportunities for night photography in a big city than a smaller place. But I would argue that you can still make amazing photos at night even in a smaller, less busy place, and it just comes down to how creative you can get with the light that is available to you. Obviously you need light to make a photo, but the important thing is noticing and recognizing what light sources can make for a great night photo, and actually you really don't need that much light to make an amazing image. Even a car with the brake light on can be enough light for a person to be lit up in red to make a great photo. Other light sources that make for great opportunities can be shop window lights, lamps, buses, neon lights, shop signs. When you really start observing for artificial light sources, you'll be surprised by how much you can find even in a small place. If it's wet, then light gets reflected off street surfaces, and you can incorporate those reflections into your night photos too. But getting the most out of a low light environment means often shooting wide open on a prime lens, and also using a high ISO, bringing in a lot of noise. A lot of photographers worry about getting pin-sharp, noise-free images, but that can be very hard to achieve at night, even using really expensive, top-of-the-range camera gear. However, next I'll explain why this doesn't matter at all, and the power that imperfection can hold for expressing your creativity. Recently I was wandering through the woods on a nice afternoon walk, and was marvelling at how beautiful nature is. I looked up at the regimented trees and undergrowth as I walked along, but then noticed this old gnarly tree that stood out in the crowd. It was that tree with its character and imperfections that I remembered after my walk, not the rows and rows of regimented pines, all pretty much indistinguishable from the others. That is why imperfection is so powerful in our night photography. You might see the same kind of polished shot over and over again on social media, which eventually fades into feeling a bit samey and boring. But when you see an image that's a bit different, it's not sharp, the composition isn't perfect, but it's full of character and it feels real and meaningful, that's how you make incredible work at night that stands out from the crowd. We as humans aren't perfect, so if we're photographing humanity at night, then finding a way to show the imperfection can really resonate with the viewer. You don't need to worry about your photos not being sharp or being very grainy, because it's likely that you'll need to use a high ISO and shoot wide open anyway, which will generally decrease the image quality. So instead of that being a stumbling block, embrace it. Use a slower shutter speed, experiment with blur and texture and those imperfect human characteristics, and you'll make more meaningful work by doing that. A great way to get some ideas for this is by watching movies. One of my biggest inspirations for night photography is the movie In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai. The light he uses, composition, imperfection and mood to convey a story that sticks with the viewer is so powerful. And that leads us nicely into the next valuable thing to learn to make great night photos, which is that the heart is far more powerful than the head. Emotions play a crucial role in human experience because they influence thoughts, decisions and behaviour. The power of emotions lies in their ability to shape our perceptions and responses to the world around us, which influences both our mental and physical well-being. If we can portray or capture emotion at night, this is likely to really resonate with the viewer and connect to them on a deeper level. So how can we convey emotion in our night photography to create those powerful images? Firstly, colour is extremely powerful, and as humans in our societies we equate colours strongly to various human emotions. For example, we can use red to convey anger and danger, but also love and passion depending on the context. If you can incorporate strong colours with your subjects, then this will drive the emotion that the image portrays. We might use blues to symbolise a more moody, lonely feeling, and more sunny colours like oranges and pinks to indicate a more uplifting and happy mood. If we find the right light, we just need to wait for the right moment to unfold to complement that light to then make for a very strong photo based on emotion. Secondly, we can capture emotions themselves. We can look out for people embracing or looking scared, sad or lonely. We might seek out a singular character and include an expansive environment, or maybe someone sat alone in a cafe to convey that feeling of being alone, which is likely to really resonate with the viewer as it's something we all feel at points in our lives. We might also look for people having fun, lovers for example. If we can capture those emotions in our photos using the light sources we found, then we can really start to make engaging photos that people are going to love to look at. And finally, we can incorporate movement to add that feeling of emotion too. For example, this photo by Joshua Jackson in his brilliant first book, Sleepless in Soho, really captures the emotion of the moment perfectly. The movement of the slow shutter speed really adds to the story and feeling of this image, and this can be a really powerful tool to experiment with in your own work. Conveying emotions can be such a strong storytelling tool, but what else can we do to convey more of a powerful story in our night images? Oftentimes we focus on the subject of a photo and as a result miss the opportunity to include the environment to make a more powerful and balanced image. It can be really powerful at night to imagine the street as a movie set, and it's your job to find the scene and then fill it with characters in an engaging way with a good composition. If you can make your night photos look like a still from a film, then this can lead to that often celebrated term, "this photo looks so cinematic." There's a few ways you can use the environment to add to the story of your photos and make more engaging and film-like images. Once you've found a scene with some light you can use, you then want to observe the surfaces and the backdrop to figure out the best composition. Consider where the light is coming from, what it might be reflecting off, to aid in how you compose the image. You can also add in elements from the street to add layering and texture to your shots, just like you see in movies. Another thing that can be really powerful is to think about how you can build a story through multiple images, that when you see them by themselves or in isolation might not be that remarkable, but when you have them all next to each other or in a slideshow for social media for example, then you can tell a really strong story that way. You can think about shooting an establishing shot of the environment, then a closer in shot of a subject in a scene, and then a close-up of some details like a reflection. Think like a storyboard. This image and this one, when all viewed one after the other, have a cohesive and exciting story that may not come across in just one single image. This idea can be even more powerful if used with the next technique, which is how to add mystery and mood to your images, taking them to another level. Our ancestors hundreds of thousands of years ago, without curiosity, might not have been so nomadic. They might not have developed tools, civilizations, cultures, and eventually the world as we know it today. Curiosity is a trait so deeply ingrained in humanity that it's such a powerful thing to harness in our photography. But what does the curiosity gap mean? The curiosity gap is a psychological concept that suggests humans are naturally inclined to seek information when faced with a gap in their knowledge or understanding. Advertisers and marketers know this technique very well indeed, and it's a tool so often used to engage audiences. By presenting a teaser or a question or a partial narrative, they stimulate curiosity, prompting individuals to seek more information and bridge the gap. So how is this relevant to night photography? Well, if we can leverage the curiosity gap in our photos, then viewers are likely to be far more engaged and excited by the images because the whole story isn't there for them. You can use the curiosity gap in daytime photos as well, but at night it can be easier to create curiosity as the night and darkness is inherently mysterious and moody already. So what are some ways we can generate curiosity in the viewers of our photographs? Well, we can use foggy or rainy windows to keep a viewer guessing as to what's going on. We can use moody or mysterious light sources to give a sense of curiosity about the environment. And we can mask parts of our subjects so we can't see their facial features or whole bodies, which can also add to the mystery and mood of the image, creating a character or a scene as if from a movie, but actually real life. Remember, the key is to tease the viewer's curiosity without providing all the answers. By leaving room for interpretation and inviting viewers to engage with the photo, you can create captivating night photos that resonate on a deeper level. While the ideas in this video are easier to make in bigger, more populated areas, you can still make amazing night photos in small or boring places. You just have to work a bit harder. But you can make it easier on yourself by following the tips in this video next, which will really help you get the most out of a quiet or boring location. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.